I'm Amir. I am one half of the Amir and Alex team. I'm joined by Ashley. Get into it.
The industry is so saturated with the amount of realtors there are. Your friend, cousin, your mom's friend. We want to know, how should someone choose their realtor? The first question is, you say you're actually different. But what does that mean? What makes you and Alex unique?
We're actually different as part of our slogan. I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's unique in their own way, right? First of all, when we met in real estate, a lot of what we were doing at the onset, like living in certain homes and renovating those homes, we were learning by doing. And that was really fun for us. And we didn't really realize what was happening at the time. But looking back, we were kind of organically building our current brand. While we were renovating houses, we were understanding how to manage a project, how to renovate a house, how to choose trades. That was kind of through many, many years of doing many, many projects for ourselves and also helping out clients. I remember a time where, and her best friend Renee started staging some of the projects that we had completed. That was the early days of when we got into staging. And this was well before like all, realtors generally will offer staging through a third party, but we had kind of brought that in-house. Again, without understanding that we're doing this, we were developing like a brother and sister business that complements our real estate business. Whether it was renovations, which is essentially GCing, or staging, which is effectively, really showing your home in its best light, these became complementary services that we developed, not just like, oh, we should develop these, but rather did them for years and years and years. And then we're like, yeah, this is a natural fit. We know what we're doing. So we're actually different kind of came out as a slogan as a result of organically growing into our total service offering, because we truly mean it when we're like, we'll hold your hand from beginning to end, regardless of your circumstance. You could be a first time buyer who's never done it before, and maybe you don't need all of those services, but you could be maybe someone who's, a tenured investor and you need to like do an extension and a top up and you need to understand how to go about it and then sell your home and you need to stage your home. So truly like end to end, full breadth of service, but also comes with the experience.
So this leads me to my next question. For any realtor, does experience really make a difference in the industry?
And not just for real estate, I think any profession, it just goes without saying. If you have experience in any industry, it's obviously highly beneficial. Having said that, I want to shout out and give credit to young realtors. I mean, I once started as a young realtor. There are tons of young realtors that are very, very dedicated and they're ambitious. And I think you got to give props where it's due. Every single day I'm learning. But maybe you're a little more green, depending on the type of transaction or the type of initiative a particular client, seller, buyer, investor has. It may be in their best interest to work someone who has more experience in those areas. Some transactions are straightforward, but more than often, like you'll find certain nuances in transactions that require a bit more experience where you've seen these types of situations before. You know how to guide the people. Last 2 weeks, I mean, Ashley, you've been part of it. I'd say that the transactions that we've closed in the last 2 weeks have been easy.
Um, no.
No, right?
No,
So
there's nothing really easy about almost any real estate transaction that I've been a part of, but it's never really easy. There's always something.
So if you've never done this before, it's obviously a challenge. So if you're a newer realtor, it might be wise to kind of consult or work, like collaborate, partner with someone who has more experience in that arena. Because, right, even still, I still consulted with my broker record, just make sure I was above board. Now I got the blessings, which is great, but I still will question myself and say, am I 100% above board, doing the things that I need to do, protecting all the parties involved? And I think that's where experience really comes through.
So the answer is yes, everybody. Experience does make a difference. I mean, I really wouldn't want my plumber or engineer or anybody doing any renovations in my house if they didn't have experience.
I just want to add one thing. Like when you're first in any industry, but particularly in real estate, okay, Ola and I will always like joke about the fact, like I absolutely despise agents who like, how many years I've been like, I've been doing this.
It is actually such a flex for a lot of realtors to be like, I've been doing this 2 decades.
Yeah. It's not so much that how long you've been doing something. That's not a testament to whether you've been doing that thing well for a long time. Right. So,
It's
and that's a credit to younger agents who are hustlers and like hardworking and willing to give up their evenings and weekends and not crying about the amount of work they're doing, willing to do the work for two sides that they have to if it benefits their client's intention. And that's the most important part for me. So I'll give credit where it's due. Experience certainly is important. But if you're the type of realtor who's just going to literally lean on your experience, and expect me to respect you because of that, you've knocked on the wrong door. I'm not interested. Next.
Fair enough. We talked about colors. We talked about green agent, which means a new agent. The red.
Yeah, the red, like things to watch out for.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what are let's pop 3 red flags that we should be looking out for when we're real.
Number one, communication. It's extremely important that you work with someone in real estate, especially that communicates effectively and quickly. Real estate transactions are often time sensitive. You want somebody who obviously not glued to their phone, but responds in a timely manner. Okay. So this is extremely important. You can't be having people who are constantly MIA, you're chasing them. No go in real estate. Very bad.
Communication.
Bad communication.
So I guess the red flag is court me.
The second thing I would say is just how professional do they seem to you in the way that they conduct their business with you? Like, what's your first impression of them? Are they able to articulate themselves in a way that gives you comfort? They know what they're talking about. Because whatever your impression is, believe me, that is the impression that the other side will have, probably amplified. If your impression of that person isn't solid, you're like, yeah, I totally have confidence that the person knows what they're talking about. That can be a problem because that's going to literally be the same thing that somebody else will perceive. I would say number two would be just professionalism, ability to conduct themselves in a manner that confidence and like they know what they're talking about.
Good. Number 1,
Communi-
poor communication.
Poor communication, red
That's a
flag.
red flag.
Yeah.
Number 2 is professionalism. If they have poor professionalism with you, it is likely that they're going to have poor professionalism representing you.
Yes.
What would you think? Maybe a number 3, dead on. If you see this with a realtor, you should not be signing an agreement.
Lack of paperwork. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we're very process oriented. And I think it's actually important to understand this. You want someone who treats real estate not as a job, but rather as a business. It is likely one of, if not the largest investment of your life. If they're treating it like a side gig, or like, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this, it's not your full time, dedicated job, and you're not 100% committed to this profession. And even if you're dedicated, it's your only job, you're not treating it like a career, but rather just a job and you're just kind of side hustling, huge red flag. Like, do not use this person. Okay.
Is red flag number 3. If it is not their full-time job, they will not be full-time dedicated to your sale or purchase.
Well put. Yes, that is exactly it.
Do you work with everyone, Amir? Or do you have a very particular set of requirements?
I feel like it's like a dating app. You know, earlier on, sure, I worked with everyone, and I think that's important. I think it's also a good training ground for young realtors. Nowadays, no, we're blessed enough to be able to kind of say if we feel something is just amiss in a relationship, we're comfortable bringing that up. Please don't misunderstand. I'm more than happy to take discussions, even if you're early on in the process, whatever your intentions are to buy, sell, or invest. But one thing that I've gotten used to saying in my buyer consult with new buyers or even buyers I'm working with again is, are you coachable? Because the interview process of you interviewing me as a realtor, I believe shouldn't be one way, or for any realtor, it should be two ways. Because just like anything else, it takes two to tango in a relationship. You want two parties to be involved and dedicate themselves. And I find that if someone's hiring me to help them, I mean, our business, I work predominantly with our buyers and investors while Aleks manages our sellers and everything to do with selling. If a buyer or investor is unwilling to listen to the advice and experience that I'm trying to share, that is not somebody who's coachable, and that is not somebody I want to work with, because that's just basically going into a relationship where I know it's bound to fail.
Yeah.
So if you're not coachable, I'm not interested, unfortunately.
I'm not going to go on a date with you guys.
No,
The main point is no, he does not work with everybody because time is money.
no. Yeah. It's not. It's honestly. Yeah. It's not. Not. It's like I get it. Time is money, but I think it's more like
No, and
yeah.
the day you're going to be, it's a relationship that you're going to be working with. And if you can't work through things in the relationship with your realtor, it's not going to work, guys.
It's not gonna work.
Next question. If someone's looking to buy, what's the first step that you take?
Call your realtor. You can get a recommendation from. I mean, I'd be happy to chat with you, DM us, and I'll reach out to you. But any good realtor should be quarterbacking the entire transaction, queuing in all the parties involved, whether it's your lender, your lawyer, the home inspector, an appraiser, a general contractor, what have you. All the parties of that transaction can be quarterbacked by a good realtor, a good leader of a transaction. Look for a realtor as a first step and let them guide you as to what it is you need to do.
Would you say the first step is the same for someone who's looking to sell?
Absolutely. Same thing.
Call your realtor.
I call you a realtor. A good realtor will just guide you and then slowly progresses you through the process and gets you prepared without feeling angst or like you're in the unknown, doing
It
real
is a
estate.
big deal. It is a big deal for a lot of people.
It was a big deal when I bought my first place. I loved it. Like, I mean, I remember working with a realtor for my very first place. It was bad, but it was like, how do I help people get to step 10 without feeling like they're leapfrogging and missing a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because I was in the
And
unknown.
a lot.
Yeah, and I didn't like that. I want to take people and be like, this is what you need to do. And it's like medicine you need to take so that you don't feel overwhelmed.
That's all the questions I have for you today.
Great.
So I think you're a great realtor, and if
I
anybody
pay you to say that.
does.
There was one thing I wanted to say, which I've been thinking about a lot. When you're in the top 1% of anything, right? And I want to kind of touch on what that means when you're looking at multiple options in the top bracket. The differences between these teams in any industry, I find, is marginal. So in that case, how do you make your decision? It's like, if both teams are, have great reviews, both teams come highly recommended, both teams offer a lot of the same services. What is the difference then? What is your value proposition? What's your differentiator?
Hmm.
And
You're
my
asking
answer,
now.
so
It's like, are you
yeah,
asking?
no, I'll tell you what my answer is.
Perfect.
It kind of is, it's come and gone like to me many times. What is your differentiator? And I think it's just a matter of like, who do you jive with the most?
That was what I was gonna say. Like, do I like you as a person?
Yeah,
Do I respect you and your like? It's really just, can I get
the
along with you?
feeling.
Because we're gonna be talking a lot, a lot,
Exactly.
a lot.
A lot, a lot. Some transactions take like, 2 weeks. Some transactions can take a year. So you're going to be communicating with this person on end for a while. And so really in that bracket, not like, I don't want to say I'm better than my peers who are also in the top percent. I have a tremendous amount of respect for my colleagues and they do their job equally well and they're wonderful people. So what matters is what you feel in terms of who you are more comfortable with working. I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's helped you. Make sure to reach out to myself, Ashley, Ola, if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate your support. Until next time.